Hello and welcome to my walkthrough. This is my walkthrough of my level that I submitted for Ubisoft's next competition for the level design category. My name is Nawaf Bahadur and you can find more of my work and a build of this on my website nawafb.com, and I place these for the walkthrough, but we can pass by them. Just in short, so this is made based on Far Cry 5. So pretend this is Far Cry 5 even though it's built in Unreal 4. And you have to look for this VIP called Dr. Hakim. He's a character I made up that you have to save, and he's a friend of Dutch, one of the main characters of Far Cry 5. So just a little bit of context. Ubisoft told us that you had to have the VIP somewhere above or below ground, and the VIP can't use stairs, so we had to use elevators, which were provided along with annotations like these, like other blueprints. So they also told us halfway through while we were building this that as a curveball we had to remove the elevators and make it work with the VIP, who could take stairs but now is scared of flight, who has been tortured by the enemies, by the Peggies. So let's get going. So you can see this is based on Ontario Place. It's a location in Toronto. So it was built as I think it was a retro futuristic building meant to showcase Ontario's uh, advances at the time in the 70s. So you'll notice that this building here on the side. The character Dutch would have told you. Oh, excuse me. They provided these ladders, so so these are where this is where you're supposed to bring the VIP. So that's the extraction point, and it will trigger a cutscene when you bring the VIP here. So this is a vantage point from where you can see, where you can like see and look for enemies and basically recon before you start. And you'll notice maybe it's hard to see, but over there there's an enemy. There's an enemy. And there's some enemies over here and here and all over. So using the binocular the player has in Far Cry 5, they could see these enemies and highlight them. So this is one vantage point. The other one would be if you went over there, each one of these wind turbines actually is big enough to stand on, but at the same time, they have to get there, they have these hook points, as one of the mechanics you have in Far Cry 5, so you can actually go up there and also recon. So from here, let's try sneaking in. So we have this tall grass and enemies can't see you. These were provided by Ubisoft as well as part of the feature list they gave us. So now we see an enemy, and you'll notice this red line. So this is like their pathway. And now you have to try to sneak around them. So the player will see the enemy through this fence, but they're protected inside this tall grass, so they can kind of sneak in. The person will be moving and they won't see you because of these boxes, and then you can just run into the tall grass next and then keep going into the third tall grass. And these boxes will keep the sight lines blocked, so you can't see the enemy and the enemy can't see you all the time. So now let's imagine that the enemy was walking and then he's over here. The player could look, there's no other enemies, and then yeah, we come and kill him. So we'd kill him in a melee stealth attack, so nobody would hear. And notice that these crates actually block other enemies. So there's enemies all around. There's one over there and one over there. But these are strategically placed so it covers this area and the player would feel safe. But they also would provide so that if the player wanted, they can climb here in maybe in a running gun or a speed run to jump here, and they could jump over here and get up. So this is, as you saw earlier, this is the ladder. But I removed the mesh on the ladder to be able to climb, but it's a bit glitchy. So yeah, from here you can see the enemy, maybe you sneak and you kill them. You'll also notice one of the first elements I had in terms of the lights. So the player would see the switch and they can toggle the lights off. Even though they told us it wouldn't affect the enemy's sights, so I mean detection radius, um, it still would make the player feel like they're this ninja stealthy going around until maybe this guy is walking and then they could come from above and jump and kill them. Another path would be that if the player didn't want to engage and wanted to keep going with stealth but without killing that person, if they go the other way, they actually will find the stairs and they'll find their way inside. And then from here they can see the next enemy and jump. The other way, the other way would be that I can get the key. Would be that if the player went from the other side, this is also another area with crates with this enemy where they can actually jump over the crates. So these are high enough to climb according to the metrics we were provided. Okay, we'll just have to wait until this actually works. Oh wow, something's wrong here. Okay, let's ignore this for now. So you could usually go up and then you could from above you can attack this guy and kill him. And then from here the player actually has the option of going over there and getting the side door. They'll see the enemies and they will see what they would want to do. Or they would see these lights, these doors. And I have these doors with the lights because in my playtesting playthroughs, some players, actually all the players were missing these doors because of the angle of the building. And having these lights would catch your eye and show you there's actually two doors. So if the player does go this route, this is the other way where you can either wait for this person to go inside and you can kill him, or you can kill him right away because maybe we already killed the one outside. If you do come and go inside and come here, you'll notice another switch. This would turn off the lights for this area. Alright. So one of the things that I had to look at while trying to reproduce how Ontario Place was and how it felt to be inside of it was the corridors. So when you first enter the real building, there's an actually very long corridor, about like 5 times the length of this, that goes into the first building. But for gameplay purposes, I made this shorter. Even I had an earlier version before they told us to remove the elevators and do the major changes. This used to be just a very long pathway all the way to the end over there, with doors to the stairs on one side. But a lot of players were losing their way. They were getting lost. So I made this map to landmark the building, because you'll notice that this point is different over there, this over here. And if the player actually looked from around this area, they would see that over there is where the VIP is. And the whole point of the game is for this level is that you can see the VIP and you already know where he is, but you have to figure out your way through the building, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 buildings um, to get to him. So even if the player came from this way, they would be able to look through this window and detect the VIP. So this way that it keeps the idea of the game running, because if they come through that, they would be able to go upstairs and they would be able to look through the window and the VIP would be over there. So going back to this map, when you come inside, you'll notice this big boat that I used based on assets I already have, and I thought it matched my idea of turning this building into like a water experimenting facility, like a lab. And then when the player comes in, there's a pathway of an enemy going over there that the player could see and they could hide, and then they maybe could go and follow and kill him. Otherwise, if they don't want to engage with the enemy, this level is made in 2 circles. So there's one circle through this door, there's another door, and then you can circle around here, or you can circle from the top around. So they would go the opposite direction, up here, and then they'll notice there's some other enemies here. If they go the other way, they'll see this light. They'll think that this could turn off the lights for the building, for the whole room. But when they turn it off, they soon realize this is only for the display. So I wanted to just like be in your face. You thought wrong, and but at the same time, they could find the what do you call it, the light switch for the rest of them, because it's actually, if you went in the room downstairs through the door, you would have seen the ones for the rest of the lights. Anyway, so if you wanted to kill that enemy, you can actually come in under the boat, and you'll notice now this area is even darker because the display lights are off. And then you could come and go and kill this guy. So if they did decide to go up down here, they would be able to open it and they'll see the switch right away. And then they can open this door and they'll see these enemies. Now it's darker, but they can kind of sneak behind this couch with some chairs in front of it. So you'll hear these two talking about breaking these things. So you'll find broken glass. So this would be like the storytelling behind why these are all falling off and why you can actually jump here and kill both of these guys. And is that they were bored and they were just breaking the glass and they were wondering if their boss Dougie would mind. So let's keep going. Right now we were able to find our way to this building, and you can see in like slightly in green, that's the VIP. So from here you will have another circular map. This time you can either go here and you'll see an enemy, or you can go here and try our luck. So this is a pathway for another enemy, but if someone sees them, they can hide right away, and maybe if that person comes and looks for them, they can kill them. Otherwise, they would be able to explore, and then they could find this room, which would have the lights for this floor. They could turn off the lights now. And one more thing before that. So you'll notice this ladder. It's connected to the ladder we saw in the other stealth room in the first building. So we would go inside here, and this enemy over here would go in a circle and then meet this guy every once in a while and talk about how they shouldn't be torturing they shouldn't be leaving the guy in his room instead they should be torturing him 24/7. And they mentioned that he's leaving him up there in his room, indicating that you should go an upper level. Now, we could have killed this guy in the circle, or this guy while he was going to the washroom. This one would go over there, all the way to this washroom. So the washroom is dark, and he would just come in here, and then you could follow him while like hiding behind these. And then if he goes inside, that's when you can kill him. From here, you come to this area where there's more of a breathing room. So there's an enemy who also would come to this washroom. But otherwise, there's no enemies in this area or this area. And this room here has an aquarium. So you can look around and have maybe something like an interesting asset over here. And it also gives you a view of where you came from. This is also a good opportunity to show you over there where we had a platform and stairs, where the player actually could have swum in the water and went up the stairs, sorry, the ladder. And there's another ladder over there that takes you to the doors we went in from on the side. Anyway, so let's go back, and now let's see here. So the lights are still on, and the player hasn't found the lights yet. So they'll have to keep looking. They'll see an enemy maybe coming up or down the stairs. They could either hide in the washroom and the enemy would come and they would kill them, or the enemy would be walking around and maybe they would walk after them. But then they'll notice that they'll hear another enemy over there talking on the phone, and they will have to either retreat or they would have to go the other way. So from here, if they go under the stairs, they would find a light switch over here, and this controls the lights on the upstairs part. If they had seen this room from over there, coming from where we came from, so if they passed the stairs, they could also find this room with the lights for the corridor. So as you can see, it's always in a side room. So now it's dark and we have a place to hide. The enemy could be walking down, and we can wait over here, and once he's going to the washroom, that's when we can strike. So this one is gone, and this is where you hear the guy walking and talking on the phone. This is Dougie, and he's the boss. You're hearing him talking and bragging about torturing Dr. Hakim. If he was not walking over here and you go to the door, you'll notice that it's locked, and you'll have to kill this one to be able to get the key. So when you open the door, you'll see Dr. Hakim in there, and a cutscene would be triggered, and he will tell you how scared he is from the light. You'll notice that there's a switch right in front of him, so if you do decide to turn it on, he wouldn't be happy. So there's also a secondary mechanic I was working on, but it didn't pan out. I could have used blinds and it would have blocked the lights from coming in. And originally I was thinking that maybe the sun would be bright, and then maybe you would open or close the blinds in the corridor, and then you would walk. But it didn't feel interesting when I tried it, and it was tough to make the sun work for such a deep building. Like I wouldn't be able to control the lights as much at the center, and so I went with having these light bulbs. which you can actually break. I didn't mention this before, but if you have the light bulb open on or off, you can actually shoot on it and it will break. So now we have Dr. Hakim, and we have to take them um, into the extraction point over there, which you can which you can see through the window. He says that we probably should get a boat, or we can try to fight our way out if we didn't kill the enemies already. So just for the sake of this, let's say we're continuing with the stealth route, and we didn't kill as many people as I did right now. So now we can actually either go this way, and there would be lights over here. So Dr. Hakim will probably not like it, but in Far Cry 5 you can shoot at them as usual, or in Far Cry 5 you can actually throw a rock, and a rock would be a stealth way to break these. So you can keep breaking these until you find the light switch, which in this case is over there. But we're trying to come up down there anyway, and if you look on the other side, you'll see there's where the stairs are. And then you'll just have to break these lights as you go. And if you go here, you can turn off the lights for this auditorium. This door is locked, and you had to kill the enemies downstairs, unless you come from the inside and it just opens. So this is just for the sake of this. We can get this key and open it. So now we're going around with Dr. Hakim, but you'll notice or hear enemies down there. So we'll have to be very careful when we're going downstairs. Let's see. So this is one enemy, and you can jump and kill him. And hopefully that would be a stealth kill, and it's far enough that they wouldn't hear you. Otherwise, you could have just gone down here, and also this character wouldn't have noticed you right away, so you could have stealth killed him. Unless this character is already here, so that would be a bad idea. You'd have to wait. So from here, you can actually take the boat, and this boat will take you all the way. You can take this boat all the way to the vantage point. Also, one thing to note over here is that this is actually the elevator shaft. So originally in the level, you had to take this elevator to the boat, and that was the only way out with the VIP. But now you can actually go through the front and just get on with it. But the boat was still the main way to get out, as well as I had a redundancy with the stairs, with the stairs to match the real world building. Like, it had more stairs around the building, but I removed some of them for pathing reasons. Like the real one, there was one over there too. But I wanted to keep the stairs because they were like a big part of the identity of the building when I was looking at it, even though it probably was only there for fire department reasons. It still looked like it was a very important part of the building. So from here, you'd come to the extraction point, and it will trigger the cutscene where Dutch will come in his in a car and then pick us up. And this is it. Thank you very much.